If your content is getting likes, comments, and you're getting story views, but your sales calls aren't being booked in, then you are missing something big. Now, most coaches think that just posting content is enough to book sales calls. They think that if they just keep consistently posting stories, reels, carousels, then eventually they'll get inquiries, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Now, the truth is that your content is probably doing an okay job at generating leads for you, but you're not doing an okay job at converting those leads into actual paying clients. In this YouTube video, I'm going to show you the exact step-by-step process that you can follow to convert leads into paying clients. If you stay until the end, I'm going to show you the biggest mistake that coaches in 2025 are making that is preventing them from turning their audience into clients. Now, let me ask you something. How many people liked your last reel? How many people commented? How many people viewed your story? How many people interacted with your story? Every single person that liked, commented, viewed, or interacted with any of your content, bar obviously, your family and your friends, is a potential client. But if you're not engaging with these people correctly, then you are effectively letting warm leads slip through the net. Now, I often have conversations with coaches in the DMs, and they always complain about having a lead generation problem. And they say, oh, Matthew, I don't have enough leads. I need to generate more leads. I need more followers. I need to run ads. And the truth is that they don't have a lead generation problem. The true problem that they have isn't lead generation, it's conversion. And really, you do not need more people to see your content. Yes, of course, more views is nice, but if you're not turning the attention that you're getting right now into cash, you don't need more people to see your content. You don't need more followers. You don't need more engagement. You need a better system in place for you to turn the people who engage in your content into people who come onto your service, invest in you, and actually engage with you as a client. Now, there are three types of people that are already engaging with your content that are hot leads in disguise. Number one, it's people that like your posts. Now, if someone likes your posts on a regular basis, or they even like your posts at all, they are showing interest in what you've said or what you do or what sort of help that you provide. And ultimately, them showing interest in your content means that you are a fresh face in their mind. And 9 times out of 10, they are passively considering your service or your help or what it is that you do. Because they engage with your content, they are subconsciously consuming the advice and the value that you give. And ultimately, you are going to accrue goodwill in that person's mind, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, and they're already going to be having and taking a liking to you, which makes them far easier to convert down the road. Now, unfortunately, most coaches do not recognize this, and they think that they just need more leads, okay? And they make these two mistakes. They take these people for granted, they ignore them, they never reach out. That is mistake number one. And mistake number two is that they send a very pushy and salesy message to that person off the back of them liking their content, and it just drives that person away. So instead of you ballsing this up, I'm going to give you a message to send to that person. And what I want you to say is, hey, with their name, thank you for liking my post about the topic of the post. After you've said, hey, thanks for liking my post about the topic, you are going to assume why they liked that post, which is going to get them to reply. And you can say something to the extent of, I'm guessing that you've been looking for content to help you with X problem, with a question mark. Now, the number one thing about this type of message that we're sending is it isn't pushy, it's not salesy, and it's not high impact. It's very casual, it's very low impact, and it actually allows the conversation to be opened up naturally, as opposed to trying to shove a conversation down someone's throat. Now, if you're posting content that's, value providing and solves problems, this type of message is so efficient in this type of content because you're already talking about a problem. So it's quite obvious that that person has liked this piece of content for a reason, which then obviously allows you to open up the conversation, find out more about them, discover more about them, and ultimately make your conversations lead to a sales call far easier. So now moving on to the second type of person that interacts with your content, and it's actually people who comment on your posts. Now, to me, a comment on a post is far more commitment than just liking a post. You could scroll on your phone right now and you could just double tap a like very easily. But in order for you to write a comment and post it, it takes a lot more effort, which signals to us that that person is probably a lot more invested in the content that we're putting out or our actual personal brand. So if someone comments on your post, obviously depending on what the post is, then this is how you can actually leverage that and start a conversation with them. And what I want you to say is similar to the previous message. I want you to say, hey, with their name, appreciate the comment on my post. And what you want to say after that is, oh, I'm guessing you're on your own journey at the minute and you've just been looking for some content for motivation or for some help with it. And then you obviously put a question mark at the end. Now, this type of message works really well because you are calling out the reason for them even commenting in the first place. And the way that you're sending the message, it just seems very natural and not pushy. Another thing as well is judging by the response that the prospect gives, it also helps you identify very quickly whether someone's actually serious about something or is just commenting on a post. Moving on to type of person number 3, and that is people that interact with your stories. Now, to me, story interactions, so let's say for instance, someone voting on a poll or clicking a button or something like that, some form of interaction in your story, that is gold because it's happening in real time. But if you're putting up polls, asking people for their goals and they vote, and then your message is, oh, amazing, saw you voted, let me know if you need any help, you are killing the conversation before it even starts. And ultimately, it's leading you to miss out on a huge opportunity to actually get that person onto a sales call. Now, in my mind, there are 2 types of polls that you need to understand. Okay, you've got hard polls and you've got soft polls. So a hard poll is when you ask someone if they want to take action. So let's say, for instance, you put a couple of stories up and you put a poll at the end saying, do you want more information about coaching, or does this sound like you, or do you feel like you need help with this? That's a hard poll because it's quite strong. It's not like casual, okay? Now with hard polls, you're probably gonna find that you're gonna get less interaction, but the prospects that actually vote are serious prospects, okay? So that's a hard poll. Now a soft poll is something a bit more casual, okay? So let's say for instance, you put a story out and you say, do you drink bottled water or tap water? Okay, that's an example of a soft poll. Now a soft poll is probably gonna get more votes, more engagement, but it doesn't really tell you anything. It just creates interaction for your profile, which obviously drives your profile on Instagram. There's no real virtue and there's no real meaning behind the story. It's just a tool that people use just to get engagement on their profile, of course. But the biggest mistake that people make when it comes to hard polls, because hard polls are the needle movers, is that they go straight in and they assume that everyone who votes on a hard poll is automatically interested and is ready to hop onto a sales call, which, as we both know, isn't the case. So instead of going straight in on someone who's voted for having more information on coaching on your story, I want you to put the pitch to the side for a second, and I want you to slow things down. And I want you to open up the conversation first before we go into offering a sales call in the first 3 messages, okay? And what I want you to do is when someone votes, let's say for instance you put a story up and you say, do you want more information on coaching? Or let's say for instance you launch something and you say, do you want more information? Instead of you going straight in and being like, right, X, Y, and Z, this is the score, and just giving them a load of information, what I want you to do is slow the conversation down and just take it 1 message at a time. Now, in order for us to do that, we need to get them to reply first and foremost. Now, a lot of coaches, they send quite a strong first message off the back of a hard poll, and then the prospect doesn't reply, and then the coach is left wondering, okay, well, they voted saying they were serious, but they're not replying to my DMs. Like, what's going on? The truth is that you slid in too hard too quick, okay? And we want to take the conversation back a bit. So a really good message to use off the back of a hard poll on your story, or like, let's say for instance, a button tap for someone wanting more information about one-to-one coaching. I want you to message them and I want you to say, hey, name, I saw that you did X, whether it was tap my story, whether it was vote on the poll. Did you mean to do that, or was it a bit of an accident? Now you might be sat there thinking, okay, that's weird. Good, yeah, it is weird, but it's also damn effective. And the reason why it's such an effective tactic is because the first message lowers sales resistance, because we're automatically assuming that that person tapped it on accident. If they did tap on accident, that's cool, some people do, but if they didn't tap on accident, by them saying, no, it wasn't an accident, they are confirming their interest, and they're telling you, and they're telling themselves that they're interested, which obviously is what we want. And then once they say, yes, I tapped it on purpose, yes, I did mean to vote, then what I want you to do is simply ask, okay, amazing, like what made you feel like voting or interacting or something to that extent? Now, by doing this, instead of forcing a conversation, we are naturally transitioning that person into the discovery phase, which is obviously where we want them to be so that we can get them onto a sales call. Now, this tactic works incredibly well And this is something that I obviously cover inside my Sales Academy. And inside my Sales Academy, it is literally where I show you step by step what to say, how to frame the conversation, how to pre-qualify, how to discover, and ultimately how to set calls that actually close. If you want the link to that, obviously there's a link down below for you to find out more information, to work with me, to book a call, wherever that is. So now that you know how you can actually turn content engagement into a sales call, the next natural step for you is to develop a framework so that you can do this on a repeat basis, and so that you can put actual content out there that converts instead of just creating noise and useless engagement for your page. If you want my exact DM process, you want my conversation frameworks, and you want to ultimately see how it's done so that you can learn the skills to do it for yourself, I just want you to click the link down below to the Work With Me page so you can find out a bit more information about me, how I can help you, what sort of results you can expect, and ultimately how this is going to work for the both of us. So if you want to find out more information, click down below. If you don't want to find out more information, that's fine. I'll catch you in the next video, and I'll see you next time.